Hi. So, Mario Kart vehicles, they're pretty wacky, aren't they? So wacky that the most out of place vehicle is a Mercedes-Benz. But no one cares. What we want to worry about, what we want to ask is whether they're legal or not. And it is a bit of a hard question to answer because some of the vehicles in this game are so ridiculous that I don't even know how to go about applying real life road laws to them. There's also the fact that road laws vary between place, but that really isn't a primary concern when you're dealing with this. But I tried my hardest to decipher whether they would be road legal or not, and then I ranked them on a scale of 1 to 10. There's really not much more to it than that. There are some instances where there's technically not a law against the vehicle because the vehicle's just that unique. But if there's a part of the vehicle that makes it in any way more dangerous to drive, I'm still gonna dock the vehicle some points. Anyway, there is one law I'd like to address because it does apply to every single car in the game, and I just have a lot of issues with it in general. You know, I think it's a stupid law, and that law is apparently you can't drive around without the roof on your car unless it's a convertible, which I don't even know if this is a real law because my source was Google Gemini. And it's not exactly that accurate. The thing is, I'd have a problem with this law. I have a lot of problems with this law. Not only with its existence, but with its relation to the carts in this game. Firstly, there is not a single cart in this game with a roof except the baby stroller. But we'll get to the baby stroller. Secondly, I don't even know if this law is real or exists everywhere universally because I asked Google Gemini and I don't really trust it. And then I ended up on some Quora page, which is probably not that much more reliable than Google Gemini, but that didn't even help anyway because there was this guy asking if it's legal to drive around with no top on your car, but then they all started talking about it. Thirdly, I don't even know if these cars are convertible or not because when I went looking, people started wording it as cutting the roof off your car. There's a big difference between a car not being built with a roof and then cutting the roof off your car. And then I also thought, like, what about bikes? If this law was for the safety of the driver, which I don't know what else it would be for, how come bikes can drive around without roof or walls? It just seems a bit prejudiced and it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't like the law. So I thought about it for a while, and then for the sake of the tier list, because if I don't do this, every single car will just be illegal. Plain right. So we're going to banish this law from applying to any of the carts in this tier list because I don't like the law and I make the rules. Anyway, now we can move on to the actual, the video starts here. So our first cart, the standard cart. So it's obviously a go-kart, isn't it? The resemblance is uncanny, and surprisingly, go-karts aren't allowed to drive on public roads. Well, public roads are off limits for go-karting. Yeah, okay, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. It's illegal. There's also the fact that it has no windshield, no side mirror, no doors either. Probably should have put that as well. That's a law. And it's a very small sitting space, so it's not very protective. You know, doesn't look like there'd be able to be a seatbelt here. You just probably, if you crash, you probably even bashing your head on this thing. There's probably not an airbag in there. Doesn't look like it could fit an airbag. It's not safe, so it gets a 1 out of 10. The standard bike. This one is a bit different. So the standard bike, it's a dirt bike. At least it looks a lot like a dirt bike. So yeah, it's a dirt bike. I'm just gonna consider it as a dirt bike. It looks like a dirt bike, and generally, dirt bikes aren't street legal, so you're not allowed to drive them on the roads, because I'm pretty sure these are just primarily off-roading vehicles. I'm pretty certain. The thing is, nothing about it breaks the law. It's just the fact that the law deems it as illegal because it is listen, comment if you disagree, but I think this is an uncanny resemblance to the dirt bike. Oh yeah, this is about mirrors. So you have to have side mirrors on cars, but you don't have to have them on bikes, which is, you know, cool, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, law against dirt bikes, it gets a 5 out of 10 in my book.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
The baby stroller. Okay, prepare yourselves, because there's a lot wrong with this vehicle. Okay, I don't know why I made this slide. I was pretty much I was going through some, like, you know, a lot of thought process. I didn't know how to rank this vehicle because it's a baby stroller, you know. It can't drive. But let's say hypothetically it can. I don't think a human is fitting inside this thing, a normal one anyway. It only fits babies in the game. It only fits babies in real life. And while there's technically no law against it, because why would there be, it's still laughably illegal. I mean, just take a look for yourself. You can read that it gets a 0 out of 10. I think this is the only vehicle in the game that gets a 0 out of 10. This is the worst vehicle in the game. In every regard. There. Bullet bike. Okay. The bullet bike is probably one of the most street legal ones we have so far, you know. All I could find about it was, all I could rate it off was not having headlights, which is like, I guess a pretty severe law. So I docked it 2 points for this. So it has no headlights and it gets an 8 out of 10 in my books. The mini beast. Okay, so the mini beast, I think this is a muscle car. I don't know what these cars are actually called, the ones with the engines that come out, which is obviously supposed to be something like this. It's got, I'd see this as a visual block. I know you are allowed to have these, but you know, again, it's my video, and I'm gonna say this would still make it probably an unsafe car to drive. So I'm gonna dock it. I'm gonna dock it some points, because at the same time, you're sitting here, your head's gonna be like here. Most of this is gonna be like vision clutter, you know. And then there's no side mirrors either, so we are going to give it an... That's a bit generous. I might change that to a 7. No, we'll keep it at 8. It gets an 8 out of 10. The Bit Bike. This is the worst vehicle in the game. Like, this is considered the... It doesn't matter, I just think that should be pointed out. This is considered the worst vehicle in the game. And ironically, it's probably one of the most safest cars yet. Bikes even. Yeah, it's one of the safest bikes, although it doesn't have a footrest. I don't think any of the baby bikes have footrests for some reason. Well, no, I know the reason. It's because their 2 legs are little to reach any footrest. But, you know, for us normal humans, we're not built like toads. So, yeah, not having a footrest, that's a pretty severe drawback of a bike. So, you know, I am going to duck it quite a lot, like 2 points. Yeah, 2 points for that. No footrest, it gets an 8 out of 10 in my books. That is a law, by the way. This is a law. You have to have a footrest on a bike. We got the cheap charger. I don't know what this line is. I don't like this vehicle. It doesn't have a windshield, no headlights, no side mirrors, and it's just generally unprotective. I forgot to state this. The unprotective law, it's not a law because, again, most vehicles are just made to be relatively protective, but the ones in Mario Kart Wii aren't that protective. So, and this only applies to cart. So what I'm saying is, if you're sitting in the cart and your waist or below is exposed, that's unprotective. If anything from your waist down is exposed, as in like there's not a wall protecting it, it's a dangerous vehicle. That's how I'm deeming that law. I think that's pretty fair if you ask me, because you could just literally lean right in this vehicle and you'd fall out. That's not safe, is it? So I can't remember what I gave this, a 3 out of 10. Yeah, I think that's pretty safe. The Quacker, all right. So again, it's quite an unusual looking vehicle. This, I mean, most of them are, but this is a very unusual looking vehicle. And just based off its looks, I wanted to dock it some points. But you know, apparently your vehicle can look however you want it to. Apparently, so yeah, that's pretty cool. But there is the fact that this is a massive visual block. Like, your head is here. Your head is pretty much going to be roughly on level to where its head is. So, yeah, there is that. And there's no headlights on it either. I am going to give it a 6 out of 10. Pretty generous, if you ask me. I mean, I did make this tier list, so that doesn't make sense. But anyway, yeah, the Quacker. Okay, the Tiny Titan. Surprisingly, there's no laws against driving monster trucks, as long as they're not, like, ridiculously gargantuous, which I'm gonna assume it's not, just to give it the benefit of the doubt. I want to be quite lenient with all the vehicles here, because, you know, a lot of them are very illegal. So all I could really dock this vehicle for was the fact that I'm looking at it now, I don't know whether I'd consider this unprotective or not. I don't think I would. All I could really dock it for was not having side mirrors, which, unfortunately, I've not said this yet, most of the cars in this game don't have side mirrors, which I think is quite a severe drawback to a car, because you use your side mirrors a lot. I know that. So, yeah, it has no side mirrors, and I don't know what this means. I'd probably remove this if I went back, but I can't go back. It's too late. It gets an 8 out of 10. The Magikruiser, or the Magikruiser. I think it's the Magikruiser. Yeah, I think this, I can't remember what I said about this vehicle. I don't think it has headlights. Those things look like, this sort of looks like where the headlights should be. So I don't know whether they are headlights. It's not made obvious. So I'm going to assume it's not headlights. Because, you know, they don't look like headlights. So, you know, yeah. I probably spent too long talking about those headlights. There's also no footrest, you know. So, yeah, that's pretty severe as well. I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, no headlights, no footrest, 6 out of 10. Magikruiser. Oh, this vehicle, the blue Falcon. I don't even know how well this vehicle would, like, function. Because it's just shaped so weirdly. And there's also only 3 wheels. But then there's 1 wheel in the back and 2 in the front. But the back is wider than the front. I don't know, it's odd to me. There's no headlights on this vehicle. There's no headlights. No windshield, it's unprotected, there's no side mirrors or doors. This is a really bad vehicle. You would not be able to drive this. It also, the elevation, I didn't even clock onto this when I made the PowerPoint, but the elevation is really low, so other drivers who are behind you might not be able to see you when you're like in front of them because you're really low down. So yeah, gets a 1 out of 10. That is a tremendous feat in this video. I was so generous, so a 1 out of 10 is just like terrible. The jet bubbler. I really don't like how this vehicle looks. This is just an eyesore of a vehicle. I don't think I rated it like that. I didn't actually, I remember. All I could dock it for was it not having headlights. I was gonna say this would be a visual block, but then I just realized this is glass. This is limited by the Nintendo Wii's graphics, but yeah, this is glass, you know. It's not a visual block, so it's fine. There's no headlights though, so yeah, there is that. Oh yeah, and this is a bike, but it doesn't need, because it's sort of shaped weird, I don't think it needs footrests. Those are kind of footrests, aren't they? So, you know, that's all I could really dock it for. No headlights, it gets an 8 out of 10 in my books. The nostalgia. So the thing is, this is obviously some I didn't put it in the slide. This is obviously some 1920s vehicle. I mean, you'd see people driving around this in like the Great Depression, so apparently that's not even illegal. I didn't know that, but yeah, you're allowed to still drive cars like this. Apparently, there's no law against it. I don't think they'd be able to, you know, keep up with modern cars, but if there's no law against it, then there's no law against it. It's too bad that doesn't mean shit. There's no headlights, there's no doors, there's no side mirrors, and it's probably unprotective. So, what? I messed up. That should definitely be lower. Change this to a 4. The Mac bike. The Mac bike, this is one of the GOAT vehicles, and it actually ranks pretty well. But unfortunately, it doesn't have headlights. If it had headlights, this would probably be one of the safest vehicles in the game, but it doesn't. So, I'm gonna have to give it an 8 out of 10. Oh, this one hurt. The Wild Wing. This vehicle was so close to being legal. Look, it just looked like a normal car, but then it doesn't have side mirrors. And I was sad about this. That's what this is. There's no side mirrors, and otherwise it would have been legal. I was kind of hyped for this vehicle because I assumed it would be legal, but you know, there's no headlights, and you know, I don't make the law. So yeah, 8 out of 10. Sorry, Wild Wing. We got the Sugarscoot. This is just a moped, isn't it? Man, yeah, I'll put this. This is simply a moped. This one, ironically, is probably the vehicle I struggled the most to rank because, again, like, a moped is road legal. Like, you literally see people driving around on these, but it's not road legal everywhere, is it? You can't drive these on motorways. And that to me just makes it not completely road legal. Because I put here, you can't use a moped on A roads or motorways because of their low top speed. It does have a, it probably does drive faster than a normal moped in the game. But again, I never realized that. Now I'm actually really struggling. Now I'm having a sort of spontaneous epiphany here. I really don't know where to rank this vehicle. We'll see where I ranked it and we'll go with that. 8 out of 10. I don't know whether I should rank this as a law. You know, I'm going to keep it like this, and then in post, if I wanted to change it, I'll change it. And then if I want people comment about this vehicle, comment what you think this vehicle should be. I think I'm gonna leave it at 8 out of 10. The super blooper. Okay. I have nothing to talk about with this vehicle. Let's just get straight on to ranking it. Doesn't have a windshield, doesn't have headlights, doesn't have side mirrors. Also pretty low elevation, isn't it? I don't know if it'd be protective, but I don't know. I don't know. I simply don't know. I'm just gonna, yeah, let's see what I ranked it at. 4 out of 10. That sounds fair to me. I don't want to talk about this vehicle. Let's move on. Oh, there's it. Okay. I don't even know this was a vehicle in the game. I don't know how to get this. It's probably not a very good vehicle because I've never heard of it. But you know, honestly, I think it's the first completely road legal one we have, you know? It passes everything. It's got footrests, it's got a mirror, no, headlights, it's got everything else like a bike needs. There's nothing really wrong with this vehicle. So yeah, gets road legal, gets 10 out of 10. First 10 out of 10 vehicle is one that nobody's ever heard of. Day Tripper. This vehicle, this was another confusing one because realistically, you see someone driving around in this thing, the primary concern isn't whether it's road legal or not. It's the fact that where the fuck is the engine? It's still a completely illegal vehicle. There's no headlights, there's no side mirrors or doors or windshield. I'm gonna predict what I gave this because I made this PowerPoint quite a long time ago. I'm gonna say I gave it 3 out of 10. What? I think there's something that's gone wrong there. I don't know what happened in the production of this PowerPoint, but change that to a 3. No, change that to a 2. Okay, the Sneakster. Right. This vehicle, you might be thinking, no, this looks a little pretty road legal, and I'm here to, you know, put you down on that because I also thought it was pretty road legal for the first 5 seconds of looking at it, and then something jumped out to me immediately, and it was this wheel. This back wheel isn't covered, and I think that's a pretty... it's not a law. I tried searching it up, nothing came up, but there is probably dangers with this back wheel not being covered, because when you're going at like fast speeds, you're sitting there, your butt is right next to that wheel that's going at like 180 miles per hour. Say you've got a jacket on and it gets caught in that, you're dying. You're getting like, I don't even know what's happening when your jacket gets sucked in there. You're getting pulled down into that wheel and then you're like losing control, you're crashing. Because I've not seen bikes without the back wheel covered. It'd be fine if the wheel was a bit further away, but it's right there. It's right where you're sitting. I think that's a pretty big flaw. So yeah. Wheel hazard, it gets a 9 out of 10. That's the only thing holding it back. It's the only vehicle in the game that's like this. So I don't know why they made it like this, just to make it look more unique probably, but yeah, wouldn't be legal. The Sprinter. Okay, this is obviously just like an F1 vehicle. I don't know the proper name for those vehicles. Either way, you can't drive it on a normal road, so let's just skip this entry. It gets a 1 out of 10. There, you can read. The Dolphin Dasher. I don't really know what to say about this vehicle based off its looks. It looks like a pretty normal vehicle. Well, not normal on our standards, but you know. I'm gonna stop speaking. I don't think these are headlights. Jesus Christ. I don't think these are headlights. Because they kind of look like they could be headlights, but you know, they're not. I really need to like pour water on myself to come back from this. The Off-Roader. This was a weird bit. This is more legal than I thought it would be, you know? Because this is like, you look at this vehicle and then you think, there's no way you'd see someone driving this on the highway or like the motorway. But then, like, it looks like Trevor's car from GTA 5.
No.
I've only just made that link right now. Anyway, there's no doors or side mirrors. Yeah, I've already been through this law several times. I also picked out these spikes on the wheels, and apparently, this really doesn't help anything. Google Gemini says that it might be legal and it might be illegal. It pretty much was no fucking hell. It pretty much just said it might be illegal, it might not be. It was a fancy way of saying, I don't know. So I really don't know what to say. I think I considered the spikes illegal from some sort of source. So yeah, I put that 6 out of 10. The Bowser bike, or the Flame Runner, as some people call it. It'll always be the Bowser bike in my heart. That's what we call it over in Europe. It's got no headlights, and I picked the spikes on this vehicle are way more prudent. They're way more jumpy out. Probably not a good place to have spikes, you know, where you're sitting. One like wrong step and you're just sitting on this metal spike. This knife. It is a knife that's coming out of your vehicle. It's a weaponized vehicle. There's so many spikes. So on this one, it definitely is like an actual hazard. I just gave it a 6 out of 10, you know, because there's no headlights and it's spiky again. Yeah. The Flame Flyer. This is like the Mini Beast, but a bigger version and a more realistic version. So it's another muscle car. I don't think I pointed that out, but yeah, it's another muscle car. This one is definitely a visual block. It's way more protruding than the Mini Beast there. Yeah, and there's also no windshield and there's no side mirrors. I also picked out these spikes, but I didn't say anything about them because I don't think that one spike is really going to be doing much. So yeah, I didn't even pick that out. Looking back, 5 out of 10. It sounds a bit harsh, but it's too late to go back. Wario bike. I have a funny story about the Wario bike. In the last video, I made a little hint as to what the next video would be. I said the Wario bike is probably an illegal bike to drive, by the way. This is literally the only vehicle, like one of the only vehicles in the game that's completely road legal. I don't know what made me say that. I think it was the massive wheel at the end that I thought would be illegal, but it actually isn't. So yeah, there's nothing else about this bike that I think would make it road illegal. Illegal, that is. So yeah, don't know what made me say it was illegal in the last video, but you know, it's 10 out of 10 road legal there. Well done, Wario. The Piranha Prowler. This has got to be the weirdest, most ugly vehicle in the game. I don't like it. Has no headlights, no windshield, no side mirrors. This thing is literally just like, why is this a vehicle? Such a lazy design. It just looks so shit. I don't like how it looks. It's getting a 4 out of 10. Star Runner. So this one, I picked out something interesting about this one, and it's the fact that the seating position, the angle's a bit weird, but the seating position of this car is so awkward. Like, look at you'll be sitting back here. You'll have to fully extend your arms out and put them completely up to put your hands on the what do you even call those handles? You have to like fully extend your arms, and your arms would get tired after like 10 minutes. That's probably not safe. It's probably just not comfortable. It's probably a bit of a distraction. There's also the fact that there's nothing to lean back on. It just looks like a pretty dangerous vehicle. Imagine sitting on this, driving at 80 miles per hour on the motorway. Look how exposed you are. Yeah, anyway, it also doesn't have headlights. I think it's a 6 out of 10. Jet Setter. Another awkward seating position. And it doesn't look like you can adjust the seat on this car. It just sort of looks a bit unmaneuverable. It's also very unprotective. You know, your hips are really exposed on this one. I thought it was an F1 car, but it doesn't really resemble an F1 car that much, so I didn't rank it as that. Also, I assumed, now that I look back, these don't really look like headlights. This might just be a pattern. I'm too lazy to go back now, so you know what? Boom, they're headlights now. It gets a 6 out of 10 in my box. The Sphere. I think oh yeah, it doesn't have headlights. I was gonna say I think this vehicle's completely road legal, but yeah, it does not have headlights. Other than that, pretty cool looking vehicle. It's got to be one of the best designed vehicles in the game. I like how it looks. And you know what? I can see someone driving something like this in real life, just, you know, with headlights on it. Anyway, gets an 8 out of 10. Honeycube. This one upset me. This one really upset me because I remember when I was looking at the side mirrors law, and I was like, there's not a single car in this game that has side mirrors, and I was in sadness. I was in a state of sadness because I realized not a single car in this game was road legal because none of them had side mirrors. I looked through all the cars in despair, and then I came across the Honeycomb and realized it does have side mirrors, and I was so hyped up because I thought we'd finally have a legal car. And then I got to it, examined it a bit more, and this thing is unprotective as fuck. Look at where you're sitting and look at where the door is. The door is positioned lower than the seat. You're fully exposed. The only thing that isn't exposed when you're sitting in this vehicle is your knees. You could tilt, you could just lean right or lean left when you're driving and you'd fall out. There's no windows. There's nothing stopping you from just rolling out the car. This is so unprotective. I looked at it in the game just to make sure. Yes, this vehicle, Donkey Kong is fully exposed out of this vehicle. It is so unprotective, Jesus Christ. And it made me so upset, but you know, it is what it is. It's an 8 out of 10 vehicle. I don't know why I marked it down for headlights. I probably should have double checked this PowerPoint because I've made a lot of fumbles here. Yeah, change that to unprotective. Yeah, boom. The Phantom. Our final vehicle. And luckily enough, we get to end on a good note because the Phantom is completely road legal. It's got headlights, it's got wheels, it's got a footrest, it's got what looks like a turbo thing, you know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to milk this video to be really long, but you know, I'm just gonna give up. It's road legal. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Boom. Thank you for watching. Fucking hell, I am so exhausted.